Hello, this is Kevin Connor again. Going to have another introductory video. Again, going more in completing some of these labs. I'm going to come down here till we get into the hardware. Okay, I'm going to come right down here to the first one here. And with this one, we're doing these labs, these videos. Very important to watch these videos, especially in week 4. We get into chapter 2. We get into hardware, and it's going to, these videos will show you demonstrations of how to do these skills assessment in hardware. In this one, I'm going to show you both the skills and the applied. Okay, skills and the applied. And this one's going to be connecting computer devices, and this is kind of like really kind of the big thing of these lab sims and test out is one of these. So I'm going to click on the skills lab. And it's going to take you out to test out, log you in automatically. I'll give you kind of a quick preview. I'll start the lab and we'll kind of go over the different components. It's quite more involved. You're actually kind of working with hardware, still in a virtual environment. Okay, to where you still got the task area like you had before. We can reset it. You can skip it. See all your tasks. You got the hint and show me, and those are going to work the same way. Hint's going to bring up a little pop-up box to show the list the steps. Show me pops up a video that shows you how it's done. We'll have a shelf. These will be components that you'll need and put on your work area, your workspace. I'll show you how to do that. And these are the different elements that are already there that you're going to work with, and they'll all have views. Sometimes those have one view, like the laptop. We have a back to where you can see the ports in the back, and a top to where you can see the keys and the power button. Okay, so I'll go back to the back. So I think I'm going to need that first. And it all depends on the lab. Like some of these may need more. Like in this desktop just has a front and a back to where you can see the different ports that you can hook up. Sometimes desktops will have a motherboard where you can actually see the actual motherboard. But this one, the monitor's also got a front and a back to where you can work with hooking it up and work with turning it on. Okay, I think I go to the top of this one, if I remember this one right. Okay, but same way, this one's kind of simple. Turn on the monitor of the desktop computer and turn on the desktop itself and wait for it to boot up. It's kind of, this one is just going to show you how to work with these, and add components. It's kind of just like how they do these lab sims. So as you can see, I got a scroll bar for vertical, got it backwards again, horizontal, and it depends if you're zoomed in. If you got a scrolling mouse, you can push forward to zoom in, and you can scroll back to zoom out. If I zoom in, you can see I get the actual vertical scroll bar right there. And you got to use a combination of these as zooming in on stuff and scrolling to where you can see it. You also got the zoom up here. Okay, and sometimes it is good to make this fit the full screen, especially those using laptops. If you got a laptop, you can use the touchpad, but boy, if you got a mouse, it makes these a lot easier. Okay, but this one you don't really need to zoom too much in it to where you can kind of see the power button. If you hold it over, you see you get like a little border that comes around it. So I can click on the power button on the monitor, and then I can click the power button on the desktop. Wait for the operating system to boot up, and there it is. That task is done. I think this next one is going to have you just show how you power on a laptop to where you got to go to the top view. There's the power button. I can click that. I got to wait for it to power up. It does give you other buttons that you actually can work with, going into the BIOS and things of that nature. So I'll go into the next one. This one, I think, is we're just going to show you how to add something from the shelf to the workspace. In this case, they want a scanner. So we just got, I think in this one, if I drop it down, this one just has one choice. Sometimes it gives you multiple choices, and you might have to choose it based on criteria. But it's mainly just drag and drop. This is again where a mouse kind of helps, where I can just kind of click on it, and I can drag it out. And you can see how I get that little yellow border right there, or kind of move. That's where it's going to get inserted. In this case, I can insert it before the power strip. I don't really want to do that. I can insert it right in front of the laptop. I might want to insert this one because they might have you hook it up later. I might put it right in between the laptop and the desktop. And again, this one's going to have back. Well, let me see. Oh, I finished the task. That's one I can't mess around with. I was going to show you the front and back of that one, but it just moved on to the next task. There will be other ones that you can kind of mess around with. This one's actually going to have you add a printer and hook it up, and it wants to hook it up to the laptop. So I could put it on either side of this laptop, but I'll go to the printer, and I only got one choice. And I'll do it again to where I kind of put it in between. I got it in between, and of course I got to hook it up. I got to get to the port, so those are on the back. And again, this will show you in those videos you should watch. And I should go to the back of this laptop. All right, now I got the hardware components. I need a USB cable, an A to B, because printers that use USB cables, that's a USB-B connector, full size. And you can see on the back of the laptop, I got full size USB-A connector. So I'm going to click on my cables up here. And here's a 8 to 5 pin. That's going to be a mini USB-C. RJ45, that's for networking. That's a power cord. Here's the one I want. And all of these just got one. Sometimes they'll give you multiple ones because you're going to be hooking up multiple things. In this case, I got just this one. So to use this cable, I just got to click on it. And down here it shows my selected component. And I guess anything you select up here is going to show down here in your selected component. And you can see right now both ends are unconnected. Okay. And I want you to hook it up to the right port. Now I'm going to show you doing it the right way and the wrong way. And I'm going to zoom in just a touch. So I'm going to click up here in the workspace. And I'll kind of scroll down. You know, you can zoom in as much as needed, but sometimes you kind of got to go back and forth when you zoom in and what you want to connect. And I'll show you, if you try to hook up something wrong, I'll show you. I'll try to actually put the A into the B connector. I'll show you what it does. It puts a border. As soon as you see the border, that's mean I got it over the port and I want to hook it up. Gives you a little warning beep, says, hey, that isn't going to work. And eventually comes back. This has to go, this is an A, so it needs to go to an A connector here on the back of the laptop. So I'll grab it and start dragging. And again, it puts border around stuff, but you try to put it on the wrong port, does the same thing. Okay. Don't try to guess at these. These should be something you should have watched in those videos. And again, you got the hint in the show me over here that will show you how to do it. So I'll click and drag it, and it's going to go right in one of those A's. There, it's connected. Okay. Now if I do move around, like say if I click that printer, you know, those kind of go away down there. Okay, if I want to get back to them, I can either come over here. Well, I don't know if I'd use the shelf because you might have multiple ones and you might add another one to your work area. As you can see, I already got one end of it hooked up. So if I come over to the laptop and click on that cable, I got it selected again. Now I can see both ends again. And now I just got to take this B connector and put it to the laptop. And there you go. All right, let me see. I'll do a couple of more here. Add a printer to this one's going to just add a printer and plug it into power. So I'll go to printers. I'll just put it right here. I'll go to the back. Wants me to hook up power, so I'll go to my cables. Here's my AC adapter. I'll click on it. You know, I take the one, I want to plug it into the actual power strip. This one I actually want to click to the actual power on the back of the printer. Hooked up the power. Don't have hooked up to any computer, but I got hooked up to power. Okay, go on to the next one. This one's just going to add an external USB mouse to the laptop. Okay, if you see something like that and you know you got to work on the back, sometimes it's easier to click on and go to the back of the actual component. That way you can see your ports. Before I actually come over here, you see here's my input devices. Just got the one, the mouse. I'll just drag it in between the laptop and the computer. Now with this one, it has its cable. So when this is selected, you can see here's the selected component. Here's its cable. So to hook it up, I just got to click on the unconnected USB cable and plug it into the laptop. Okay. What else we got to do? This one, it wants to remove the DVI connection from the monitor to the desktop and replace it with an HDMI cable. Okay, we can do that. So first I got to come here, go to the back of both of these, and remove this. Here's the DVI cable. Oh, I'm sorry. To remove it, you just got to grab it, drag it away, drag it down. There you go. Over here in the computer, you can see once I got the cable connected, it shows up on where it's connected on both devices. You're just going to grab on the computer, grab it, drag it off. Now, well, I suppose I need to probably drag it off. I'm going to drag it off here onto the shelf. Now I got to use the HDMI ports. So I come over here and find an HDMI cable. Okay, right here it is. I'll click on it. There's my HDMI cable, and they're both the same ends on this one. So I just got to grab on one and drag it and hook it up to, right there's the border, so I'll hook it up to the HDMI port on the monitor and the HDMI port on the built-in video card on the desktop. Okay, let me see, use, oh sorry, I messed up. That's why I didn't get the little pop-up box. It says disconnect the DVI video cable from the monitor on the desktop system, but use it to hook up to the laptop. So I got to unconnect this one. I connected it to the wrong device. I got to come over here to this laptop, click on it, go to the back, and see how that cable disappeared again? So I'll go to the back. And sometimes it's kind of tricky. If I can just scroll over to I can see that cable, that I can click on it. The cable. There we go. There's the connected one. Here's the unconnected. I just need to drag it up and connect it to the HDMI port on the built-in video card in the laptop. Now I got that one left. Let me see. Maybe this one's just going to use an external hard drive. I'm going to kind of maybe skip this one. See if there's anything that you might. Oh, this one's desktop speakers to the desktop. This one is, again, if I click on the speakers, drag them to my workspace, put them next to the desktop. Or sorry, yeah, the desktop, I got it right. And if I click on the speakers, you can see it has its own connector, so I don't need to grab any cables. I just need to go to the back. And this is kind of one you want to make sure you watch on the video about audio in hardware. This one is kind of straightforward when I want to hook it up with this one plug. A lot of video, or sorry, God, messing up today. A lot of sound cards, their mini RCA plugs are color coordinated, so you're just going to match up the color of your plug to one of the ports of the same color in the built-in sound card. In this case, this one's going to go right to that one right there. And there you go. And it's going to be the same thing. This one's just hooking up networking to the wall. Okay, so it wants to network the desktop. So I'll go to the back of that. There's its NIC card. Network interface card or Ethernet port, and again on this phone on the wall here, we're going to have a phone and Ethernet for your internet, okay, or just networking, really, not necessarily internet. But I go back to my cables. Here's my Ethernet cable or my Cat5, my RJ45 jacks. When I say RJ45, that's the actual standard for those jacks on the wall here, and actually on the Ethernet port on the computer. So same way. These are both going to be the same ends. Hook it up to the network interface card that's built in to the actual Ethernet port or RJ45 jack on the wall. And it's the same thing with this. Once you have it done, you think you got it done, you can score the lab and it will give you feedback. I got 9 out of 10, 90%, but again, once I say done, I can retake it. In this case, I think it's going to do the same thing. I can restart with that one remaining task or start all 10 over. So you can do that. Okay. But once you've done it, even though you're going to do the applied labs right after this, don't use these navigation arrows. Close down this tab. I'm going to hit the old back button, go back. And we have, should have moved. We got these applied labs. Now these, I don't do all the applied labs in this one, in this particular section. These applied labs are just reinforcing what you did in that skills lab, but they're individuals. Like lab, change the display settings or connect to printer. Okay. Now I'll go ahead and click on an applied lab. It's going to be the same setup where I go out to test out, brief introduction. I click start the lab. You're going to have you're going to have the task over here the same way. I got to click this button here. No. Okay. But this one is going to be kind of, well, I probably should have chosen another, but I can do another one after this. This one's actually going to have you, through the operating system, add an existing printer. So, and with the applied labs, you're not going to get any help. Okay. But you know, still, you still get stuck on it. Well, I'll show you here in a bit. We'll try to complete it ourselves. So add the shared Canon printer to the list of available printers using the default settings. Okay, so there's probably a couple different ways to do this. I could probably find it go to the control panel. I imagine this one's probably going to have you go to the system settings, go to your devices and printers. Let me see. Other devices. Click the add. Oh, they don't want you to do it that way. Oh, you got to go to printer scanner. How about that? And it wants you to do the Canon. Click on add. It's going to do a search. There it is. It's only going to show up the one. So it's pretty straightforward. Click on that. Add device. Set the shared Canon printer to be the default printer. So let me see. I'll come down here. Set as default. And as you can see, the applied, it isn't going to show you, hey, you got it right. It's hoping you got it right just by doing the correct steps. You're not going to find out if you did it right. Maybe I did it wrong here until you score the lab. So I'll score it and see if I did it right. I did it, both tasks. But if you didn't get both tasks not correct, don't worry. You know, again, it gives you the feedback. Gives you the steps. Now, don't skip to these because I'll be able to see if you skip right to how to do it and then close it and reopen it again. But try to do it. If you can't, use the feedback. Okay? Because again, you can do it over and over and over until you get it correct. Okay, I'm going to close this. Maybe try to find another one. Let me see. Windows. Display settings is going to be more software. Let me go up here, back up here. Install a USB device. Let me click on this lab here. I'll load it. I'll start it. I think this is going to be the same. This will be an applied one. This will be kind of an applied one where you got your work area, you got your selected component. Here's your shelf. Here's your task, and make sure you read these correctly. Sometimes I even skim over these. You know, you recently purchased a new mouse, digital video camera and scanner. You need to connect them to your computer, but it doesn't have enough USB ports. You'll need to install a USB hub to provide enough connections for these devices. Complete the following tasks. Connect the mouse to the computer, and I just do these one at a time. Connect the mouse to the computer, add USB hub, and then connect it to the computer. Then you can connect the scanner to the USB hub and the camera, which is already here. Okay, so the first is going to be pretty easy in that I got to connect a mouse, but I'm going to put up the back of the desktop because we're going to need that. So I'll grab the input device. There's my mouse. Okay, drag it to my workbench. This one to be straightforward in that. Let me see what that is. That's connected to the printer, so I'll eventually have to unconnect that one, I think. So I'll come back to the mouse, because I want me to connect the mouse to the computer. And then it's want to add a hub. It's only got one, so I'll add that hub, put it in between kind of the scanner and the camera. Okay, went to the back of that. Now, this one you might need to zoom in on. I'm going to zoom in on that if I can on that. This one you might need to kind of look at the type of connector. That looks like a USB B. Well, this might be a 5-pin. I'm going to say it's a B. I think it's this one, A to B. This one isn't going to count you down if you pick out the wrong cable. Yep, I need this A. So I'll connect the A to that. Connect the A. Let me see. It's the A5, the mini 5 goes with that, and then we got to find an empty spot on our desktop to hook the other end up to. That's going to be the full size A. So I got that, so I'll zoom back out so I can see everything. And go to the front of this, so now I got to hook up, let me see, connect the video camera to the USB. I got to do the scanner and the camera to the USB hub. So I'll click on the back of the scanner, and that's going to be the B. So that's going to be the USB cable AB. The B goes to the scanner, and the A goes to the hub. And now let me look at the camera. I imagine the camera's going to be this mini one because I got a couple of them here. I can almost zoom in on it. Yep, that's going to be one of those mini ones. So I'll click on the mini A5 or A5 plug mini. The mini is going to go to the camera. Well, I thought it was. Let me zoom in a little bit more on that. Sometimes zoom in and see, oh, that's going to be pick the wrong cable again. It's going to be this A to B. Well, I got the right one. That should be my connector. I think I know, and it's up here. That's where it's at. There we go. I was connecting the wrong connector altogether. Now I think I got it. There we go. I think I got it this one now. Got them all correct. Again, there's no time limit on these, so you can kind of click around, try to figure it out. But again, score the lab. If you don't get it all correct, you can do it over. Okay, that's I might show another when it comes down when we get to the Office chapters. I may have another video on how to do those also, but you also have skills and applied labs there. Okay, that's it for this video.